Hi everyone. My name is Prachi Singhani, and I would like to welcome you on behalf of SPIN to our session about exponential growth and growing dynamic youth leaders through mentorship and the engineering design process. As you can see on the screen, we need a couple of materials for activities later in the session. So if you haven't already, it would probably be a good idea to grab those. As I said earlier, my name's Prachi. I'm a 10th grader at Liberty High School, and I first heard about spin from a teacher in my middle school.
Hello everyone, my name is Peyton Smith. I am a 10th grader at Lindbergh High School, and I found out about spin through a flyer at my middle school.
Hi everyone, I'm Laura Bowie. I'm a current sophomore at Newport High School, and I found out about spin just through my mom.
Hi everyone, I'm Nady Ramirez. I am a sophomore at Raceback Aviation, and I found out about spin through my school.
Hi, my name is Shanna Beckwith. I am the Director of Curriculum and Instruction for STEM Pass Innovation Network.
And I'm Nell Dicing. I am the Spin Girls Program Manager at Spin.
Okay everyone, before we get started with the presentation, we're going to do an icebreaker activity called Music Box. So we are going to go into breakout rooms for about 3 minutes, and we're going to come up with as many songs with the word girls in the lyrics or the title, and then when we all come back together, we'll each team will go back and forth sharing a song, and you cannot repeat a song, so the group in the end who has the most songs will win. And you should get an invitation shortly to go into your breakout room. Okay, now that we're back, every person on our team is going to take turns sharing the song one of the following ways. So you guys can either sing the chorus of the song or the lyrics. You can name the song or say the words in the song, or you can even play the song from your device. So group one, if you want to go first, I was in group one, but if anyone else wants to go, you can go ahead. If not, I will gladly say one of our songs.
It's true, we can't repeat a song. So once a team has already used the song, we have to cross it off, right?
Yeah, cross it off your list if you made one. I'll go ahead, and one of our songs was Girls Just Want to Have Fun.
My group was group 2. And girl, you know it's true. Ooh, 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 I love you.
Would group 3 like to go next?
Yeah, sure. Okay, so I was group 3, and one of our songs was Girls from the World, Beyonce.
Okay, and group 4? If there was a group 4, I'm sure if there was.
I'll go. Ours was my girl, talking about my girl.
Beautiful. Okay, was there a group 5 or no?
I think that's us. We had, I think the last one I heard was Where Are Them Girls At?
Where are them?
Okay, and then was there a group 6?
No.
Okay, so then back to group 1. I can talk again, that's okay. Big Girls Don't Cry was one of ours.
Good one. Group 2, Girls, 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 Jay-Z.
Group 3?
Hi, I'm Keisha, and one of our songs was Jessie Girl.
Awesome.
I think it's from the 80s.
And group 4?
Diana, do you have the list still? I didn't get the list down on my end.
Oh,
Go ahead. I have a one. California Girls.
Okay, I think there was only 4 groups, so then I'll go again. Material Girl, one of our songs.
Good one. Billie Jean, Michael Jackson. She's just a
Um,
girl.
okay, Girls Like You. I think that was like Maroon 5 or something like that.
Okay, who was in, or the last group can go, group 4.
This Girl's on Fire.
Perfect. Okay, so now since we're gonna try and like wrap things up a little bit, whoever has the list, count how many songs you have left, and then whoever has the most songs left on their list will win. So I know my group has. My group has 2 songs left. So if you want to put it in the chat so I can see everyone and say your group number as well, that'd be great. Ooh, 3 left. Okay. So Diana, your group looks like the winner. So good job, you guys. That was awesome. And thank you all for participating.
Nady, do you want to introduce our next section?
Okay, sure. Up next, we have our amazing Nell, who's been our Spin Girls program manager over the past couple years, and she's going to interview us about this program.
Yes. So before we get into that, the secret code word for this session is thriving. I'll write it in the Whova chat because I think more people have access to that. So Spin Girls is a STEM program that serves 8th to 10th grade girls of color in King County and takes place over the course of the school year, consisting of mentorship by a woman of color in STEM, 5 lab days, 5 field days, a capstone presentation, and a week-long summer retreat. The girls are going to tell you more about the program because you don't want to listen to me. So Peyton, what does a typical lab day look like?
Yes. Okay, so lab days are the days where we get to work on our projects, our capstone projects to be more specific. So we have 5 days, alternating months, where we get to work with our mentors on our projects. So in your first year, you create a bio bag. In your second year, you create an app design. In your third year, you create a climate change solution. So yeah, we get to work with our mentors. It's super fun. You know, it's a lot of leadership and team bonding experiences. So it's really super fun.
And Laura, what does a typical field day look like?
Field days are normally the days where we get to tour a campus of a company or organization, and we get to see how it operates around there. And the company normally also allows us to conduct little mini experiments that have to do with the field. And in the end, we get to interview all the employees there to see if that could possibly be something that we might want to work on in the future.
Awesome. Now the girls are going to tell us about their capstone projects over the years. So Prachi, can you tell us about your bio backpack?
Yeah, so the bio backpack was basically a project where we had a drawstring bag and we had to design it to fit a certain client. So for example, on the screen, you can see like a soccer bag design and a flute bag design. And I remember it was the first time that we got to like get to work with our mentors and fellow mentees. And it really encouraged us to think outside the box. Like we have a bag and some random household materials. So how do we put it together and also use like concepts of science in the process of it? So it really taught us a lot.
Thank you. And Peyton, tell us about your app.
Yes. Okay, so the app project, my specific group was we called it a bullet journal. So bullet journaling is something that I really got into a couple years ago, where it's like a calendar and a journal all mixed together. So we thought, sometimes people don't have time to like write stuff down in a journal, and everyone has their phones nowadays. So what we created was a bullet journal where you get to choose a theme for there's flowers, galaxy, different colors, tropical. And then in this bullet journal, you get to go in and there's sticker options, and it's just a fun way to write stuff down, because I think that my calendar app is like pretty boring. It's just write this stuff in there. But this is like a more fun way of writing down what you need to do. And yeah.
And Naidi, tell us about your climate change solution.
Absolutely. So this is actually my last project here with Spin Girls, and my group decided to make a greenhouse that is very small, one you can keep in your house, that has a water pump, and that doesn't only need sunlight, because it's also going to be filled with LED lights. So it will be useful all year round.
Perfect. And then I'm going to stop sharing. Oh, there's so many of you. And Laura, tell us about summer retreat.
Summer retreat was actually one of my favorite parts of this program. It was essentially like a group bonding time in the summer where we would meet up in a facility, and we would have different organizations and programs come to us to conduct different experiments in different fields of STEM. And we would also get to play fun games just like Uno, and we also got the chance to go boating.
Thank you. And Prachi, tell us about your mentorship experience over the years. How has your relationship with your mentor developed?
So I've been fortunate enough to have two mentors throughout the Spin Girls program, and I think my relationship with both of my mentors has been like a new type of relationship I never really explored before. In terms of like, I never had someone in my life who I could just ask for advice all the time about my future or any decisions I wanted to make, and just seeing women in STEM who are holding a position that you might want to have in the future is really inspiring.
Now, this is a question for all four of you, starting with Naidi. What's the most valuable thing you've gotten out of Spin Girls?
I think the most valuable thing I've gotten out of Spin Girls is knowledge. Because like before I joined the program, I just know I wanted to go into the STEM field. I didn't know what careers there were or how to pursue those careers. But now I know like where to start, and what path I might want to take. And it's just been really helpful because like, whoa, this is really cool. Like I kind of want to do this for the rest of my life,
Love to hear it. Peyton?
Yes, one of the most valuable things that I've gotten out of Spin Girls is definitely the relationships that I built with the people in the program as well as the mentors, because I've gotten to that stage with some of my friends that I've met where we're hanging out outside of Spin Girls and seeing each other more, not just once a month. So it's been really awesome.
And Laura?
For me, I think the most valuable part of the Spin Girls program was leadership skills, because maybe you can't tell now, but I'm low-key an awkward person. So when I first joined the program, I was really shy. I didn't really want to talk to anyone I didn't know. So throughout this program, I really just started to like try to speak out more. And I've definitely, like Payne said, made a lot of friends that I know I wouldn't have met otherwise.
And Prachi?
I think for me, spin is really important because it helped me gain exposure to a lot of companies and programs like we talked about earlier. And like for example, I don't think if I didn't participate in Spin Girls, I don't think I would have been able to talk to employees who worked at big companies like Uber or Blue Origins. And so yeah, I'm really thankful for Spin for giving me those opportunities.
Awesome. Thank you all so much for sharing that with us. I'm going to turn it over to Shannon now to talk about the inquiry curriculum continuum.
Hi. So, like I said earlier, my name is Shanna Beckwith. I'm the Director of Curriculum and Instruction for SPIN. And this diagram that's on your screen, really busy and a lot of color. My coworker Nell says too much color and it's too busy, but I left it that way because it's truly a representation of how my brain works. Um, but I wanted to talk to you a little bit about how we move through our curriculum in Spin Girls to encourage our girls to develop a STEM mindset over the time that they're with us. And so um, on the bottom, it's the amount of self-direction for the student, how much independent thought and activity and self-direction a student has to put into the curriculum. And on the left side, you'll see it's student engagement. And I just want to clarify, when I say student engagement, it doesn't necessarily mean how interested or how active the girls are in the program, but really what kind of lift they have to have as far as how much they're responsible for in terms of the success of the program. And we start out with them in the 8th grade doing the bio bag project that Prachi talked about. There's very little responsibility on behalf of the girls for the success of the program at that point. We want them to show up and we want them to participate. So everything from the materials and resources being provided for them, the curriculum, the engineering design process, that's the circle in green, is taught at that point. So we spend a lot of time teaching them about the engineering design process, how it works and how to move through it. And then the capstone project, the presentation at that point is scripted. So we basically help them to develop a script that they follow in order to do their presentations for the capstone at that level. As they move into the 9th grade and we do the app design project, we expect them to have a little bit more self-direction, and they're definitely more responsible for the success of their project and for the success of the program as a whole. Over the summer, one of the things at the summer retreat we will have asked them is what direction they want to see the program go for the next year. And so they start to carry some of the responsibility for the success of the program at that point. You can see where the engineering design process goes from being taught to being coached. We are still providing all the materials and resources for them at that point. And then the capstone presentation is more guided than it is scripted. So we don't tell them exactly what to say. They have to figure out how they want to present their app and the capstone presentation. And then finally, in the 10th grade year, we move on to definitely a student-directed, more research type project where the student engagement is at its peak and the responsibility is at its peak, and the self-direction of the student is at one of the highest levels, where they're actually employing the engineering design process, and they're using research in order to finish their project. They are, it's completely student-led as far as the capstone presentation and the project. So they've had to research a specific subject in climate change, decide what kind of project they wanted to create. The girls that I mentor are building the greenhouse that Nadi's talked about. And so they have, are working on putting together the greenhouse. They've planted the plants. They're putting the lights inside the greenhouse. They're building that entire project from the bottom up. So it is completely student-led, student responsible for the success of that project at that point. And this was all done specifically by design, in that we want to lead the girls to have this STEM mindset over a period of time where they are employing the engineering design process throughout, being more comfortable with it. And we're going to talk a little bit about the engineering design process in a little bit, so I won't spend too much time on that. But I wanted to talk a little bit how this also has led to some scaffolding, if you will, in terms of how Spin Girls has grown organically. So out of listening to the girls and having them be more responsible for the success of the program and listening to the needs of our community, we've actually taken the Spin Girls program and grown it in two directions. We've added onto Spin Girls the success of it by creating a Spin Girls Club, which is for 6th and 7th grade girls before they enter the Spin Girls program. And so we did kind of short bursts of Spin Girls like instruction where we're working with a couple of the middle schools here in the Seattle area. And instead of it being a year-long program, it's just a quarter and it's after school for an hour once a week, but they get to do the same type of projects that they would do in Spin Girls and really kind of get to explore and see if it would be something that they'd be interested in more in depth with the commitment that's required for Spin Girls. And so we created that Spin Girls Club program at the 6th and 7th grade level. And I wanted to bring that up as part of the presentation here today, because really what we wanted to do was take the success of a program, one that we already knew that was working, and instead of creating something new, grow the success that we had already established. In addition, we're starting building onto the Spin Girls program after the 10th grade. So the young ladies that are with us today are in the 10th grade, and we just realized we can't let them go. We're not ready for them to, be done with Spin Girls. So Nell has been working on a Spin Girls Fellows program that will continue to support the girls through the rest of their high school career and as they transition into post-secondary, whether it be school or work. So she's been working on the continuation or the additional program, what happens after Spin Girls. And we have a question and answer period definitely at the end of our presentation today. So if you have questions more about this, I'd be happy to answer them for you at that time. So, and then I think Nell, Nell is going to talk a little bit more about the engineering design process. It is definitely a foundation of the Spin Girls program throughout, even with the Spin Girls Club and moving through Spin Girls Fellows. So we spend a lot of time teaching, coaching, and helping the girls perfect their understanding of it. So we wanted to introduce that to you today.
Perfect. Thank you, Shanna. So this is the engineering design process graphic that we use for the girls. You don't have to memorize it. I'm going to send it in both the Zoom and the Whova chat right now. Let me know if you have any issues accessing it, because you will need it, because we are going to make you all put your engineer hats on. And your design challenge for today is to build a bridge with one piece of paper that can hold as many coins or paper clips as possible. So if you got here late or you just didn't grab your materials yet, make sure to grab 2 pieces of paper, a pen or pencil, something to write with, 2 books of about the same thickness so that they can lift your paper so it's actually a bridge, and then as many coins and paper clips as you have access to. So I'm going to put you back into breakout rooms. They're going to be different breakout rooms. One of our students, and also Shanna, is going to be in each of the rooms, and they're going to sort of be your timekeepers. It's going to move fast. You will have pretty much 1 minute for everything, but they'll help you out with that. You're going to start with the investigate stage on that graphic. So you're going to investigate and imagine by talking to each other, trying to think about ways you can solve this problem. Then you're going to plan. So on one of those pieces of paper, sketch out a design. Then you're going to create. Straightforward. Then test it, improve it, and then communicate it. So at the end, you're going to come back with your group. There are going to be a decent number of you in each room, but hopefully you have time to talk to each other, share your projects, and then also talk about How did you overcome the time constraints of this project? And how did you overcome the materials limitations? And I'm going to put those questions in the chat as well. So before I put you guys into breakout rooms, are there any questions about what you have to do? Cool. All right, welcome back. So is anyone feeling brave and wants to share their bridge or share what their group talked about?
We didn't physically build a bridge for ours, but I discussed, she asked the question, how does this compare? Do we use this in our real life or like at work or anything? And I just basically I told her, yeah, we do. We're a nonprofit organization, so we do community events. So we actually apply this this type of structure for some of our events as a team. So we'll get together. Okay, this is how the event's gonna go. How are we gonna let it flow? And then we actually physically walk through it ourselves as a team, like if we're coming to the event. And she made a point to say that engineering can be applied anywhere for almost anything and not just engineering itself.
Awesome, thank you so much. And that's like the perfect segue to our next segment, unless someone else wants to share. Okay. I'm gonna put another link, this time to a Padlet in both chats. And Shanna, take it away.
So yeah, Nell put the link to the Padlet in the chat, and if you'll go ahead and click on that, it should take you to our wonderful page where you can add your comments or your thoughts. So after going through this engineering process where you imagined it, you drafted it, you created it, you tested it, and also communicated about it, thinking about those different steps in the engineering design process, what we'd like for you to do is to think about how that can be applied to life. In which ways can the engineering design process be applied to making life choices? So that's the question that we've posed to you that we'd like your thoughts on in the Padlet. So I'm going to give you a couple minutes to go ahead and put some information in there, if you will. And thank you for the person who gave the verbal comment with the feedback from their group. I have so many people in the gallery view. I didn't see who it was who was speaking at the time.
How do you do it? You just click on the link and you're able to like write?
So when you click on the link and it takes you to the Padlet, in the bottom right, there's a pink plus in a circle.
Oh, okay.
And, yeah, and it'll open up a box for you to type into. Awesome. I see somebody said this could work with reimagining police, reimagining safety in our communities. Group thought process with making decisions. focusing on the goal and not getting distracted by setbacks or other distractions, testing ideas to see what works, working any kind of trial and error. Understanding the value of the resources that you have, absolutely. Teamwork. So one of the most powerful aspects of the Spin Girls program, and what we really want our young people to walk away with at the end of the day, is an understanding of how the engineering design process is not just an engineering design process. It's actually a process that can be applied to many aspects of life. In that, especially as we talk about building a STEM mindset, if you will. A STEM mindset is the idea that you have an issue or a situation that you need to address, and there is most likely more than one way to address it, and that everything you try may not work out the way you want it to the first time, but it doesn't mean that that's the end of the situation. That you have the ability to reimagine, to try and try again, and that approaching life as a process, as opposed to I see my life in a series of failures, as opposed to I see my life as a series that's part of a process of growth, of trial and error, of figuring out what's going to work and what's not going to work, and that they can apply this process to so many different things, everything from excuse me, everything from how they're approaching graduation from high school and what they're going to do post graduation, whether they're going to pursue college, community college, internship, career, whatever steps that they're going to take, that they can take this, what they've learned with us over the course of these years, and apply it to so many different aspects now and in their future. It's one of the things that I wish I had when I was growing up, and that I hadn't waited so late in life to learn. And so I'm really excited to be able to share this with them at this point in their life, because I think it's a powerful tool to approach life in that way. And so that's one of the big walkaways that we have as we're talking about growing our leaders, our youth leaders, these young ladies that we have with us today. Are employing this every day, and doing so in a powerful way. And so I see people are still adding things to the Padlet. Learning to work around constraints, absolutely. Having a growth mindset, yes. Teamwork, understanding the value of the resources that you have. All of those things are really, truly powerful for a young person to start to understand at this stage in their life. And so to wrap that up, I'm gonna turn it back over to the girls, but you feel free to continue to add things to the Padlet if you'd like to, but ultimately the idea is to take failure out of the equation. If you're working on the engineering design process, failure is not part of the equation. It's all just iterations towards a solution. And so the girls are going to lead us in our Q&A, our question and answer session. We have a couple more minutes with you. And if we'd like to open up the floor for anyone who has questions of the girls or of either Nell or myself.
Do you have one question in Hua already? What type of mentors are needed for the continued success and growth of Spin Girls? So I can answer that, but I also want to hear from the girls as to, like what would you want in a mentor?
I can go and say something. I think that in a mentor, I want someone who is dependable, someone who is good at listening to our ideas, and also very helpful and resourceful, because we need that kind of guidance, especially in the 8th grade year. We need that sort of guidance, but then also to take a step back and watch us grow as we move along in the project.
Awesome. Anyone else want to answer? Laura, Prachi, Nady?
I think someone who like takes a genuine interest in someone younger, someone who they know they can have a huge influence on. And so if you have like life experiences in the STEM field, or just in terms of you've been through situations where you wish someone would have told you to do something different, then like it's a perfect opportunity to help someone else avoid the same mistakes and make better decisions.
Awesome. Thank you, guys. And I will just add, so we do specifically look for women of color in STEM, like who work in STEM, who study STEM, who have some kind of STEM background, so that our students can see people who look like them and can inspire them, and also teach them the ways of STEM, which this program exists because there is a lack of women of color in STEM. So I would say the type of mentors we need are just honestly any woman of color in STEM who is passionate about increasing the number of women of color in STEM. Say that a million times.
I have to add to that now also and say that we do use kind of a broad approach to when we talk about STEM. So one of the things that when we started designing Spin Girls, we wanted to take into consideration is that people don't often think of certain careers as being STEM focused when they really truly are. So, you hear STEM and people automatically think engineer, doctor, software designer, they go that direction, scientist, when in fact we have mentors who are nurses. We have mentors who work more, who are more tradespeople than as opposed to researchers and things like that. So we have people who represent every aspect of STEM. So it could be an accountant, it could be anyone who uses any science, technology, engineering, or math in their daily career, has something that, valuable that they can bring to the table for these girls.
Another question from Huva. How has the transition been from in-person to virtual programming? What were considerations that had to be made? Laura, do you want to kick us off and describe how things have changed from
Sure. For me, I feel like everyone really prefers in person because we get to interact, but I think the experiences that we've had this year have really shown us like how important we are to each other, because I miss my friends in Spin so much. And like Pam said before, we do get to hang out on an outside basis, but we've gone to learn to work together as a team a lot more this year due to how we can't really see each other all the time. So there's a lot more teamwork involved, and you also have to work a lot harder, but it's a lot of fun too.
Thank you. And I think one of the other big considerations that we had to make was our program is very hands-on. Like they do hands-on projects. You saw the pictures. The field days, they're supposed to tour a company. And that's all harder to do in a virtual setting. But we ended up sending out project kits, and some of the companies were able to film like a building tour or a lab tour. We had a few lab tours, and those were all really cool, just ways to adapt.
I think if anything, we've learned to be how resilient we are, in that we didn't just fold because the method of bringing the information to the girls had to change. We just had to use that design process and work it out. And we've tried, a couple different iterations to get to where we are. And I think we've, figured out how to make it work in this situation, but we'll all be really happy to go back to in person where we can, I can see the girls and I can see their smiles and talk to them and have, that more organic face-to-face conversation.
And then I think the last question we have time for, kind of, Keisha, if I'm pronouncing your name right, I will answer your question, just not formally.
Yes. Okay.
But the other question is, are there internship opportunities, paid internship opportunities for your students, or even shadowing opportunities? So part of the mentor, I'm just going to answer this quickly because we're almost out of time. Part of the mentorship program or component is a job shadowing opportunity with their mentor, which is also why we want the mentor to be in some sort of related STEM field. And then with Spin Girls Fellows, the 11th and 12th grade program that will come after, there is a paid internship component that our girls who are on this call right now don't even really know about yet because I haven't told them. And then, okay, so Keisha, your question. How do I get my students involved? Do you have to start in 8th grade? So if you know students who are interested in being part of this program, we would love to have them. Our registration is currently live on our website, and I'll send that in the chat. There's a big register button. And you can also go to our website if you're interested in being a field day or internship partner or a mentor yourself, or if you know anyone who's interested in that. We also have our emails here, and we'll connect with folks after the event to send out more links if you're interested, after Carrie gives us the list of attendees. No, you do not have to start in 8th grade. If we have room in the 9th and 10th grade cohorts, we do open up registration for those grades as well. Perfect. Well, thank you all so much for joining us. Feel free to get in touch with us. We'd love to hear from you, and have a great rest of your day.
I really want to say
Thank
thank
you.
you to our girls for their participation today. As our EPIC cohort and as 10th graders in our program, one of the things we want to do is give them the opportunities to take advantage of leadership, youth leadership opportunities. And so this was one of those things that we presented to girls to see if they wanted to participate, and these girls stepped up to the plate to do this today. And so we want to say thank you to them for their time. It's like right after school for them, most of them. So I think Nady was probably on her way home from school when she jumped into the Zoom. So thank you, girls, for helping us out today, and sharing your experience in Spin Girls with us. Thank you, and thank you for everyone for coming out to our presentation today.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.